So here I am fixing my motherfucking house again, except y'all know I'm not fixing my house right now. I'm building this closet for my mom. Now, to all my new followers and stuff, y'all probably don't know this, but the series Fixing My Motherfucking House Again started in my house. I own my own home, and it is a fixer-upper, and I've been remodeling it. So that is my catchphrase. That is my tagline. Here I am fixing my motherfucking house again. And so that is why I start my videos that way. And then because I'm redoing this closet for my mom, that's why I just been saying, except I'm not fixing my house right now. I'm building this closet for my mom. If y'all want to see my house and what my house look like and the projects that I've completed on my house, head on over to my TikTok. TikTok is like the OG, okay? My TikTok is where I started. So every single video I've ever made is on my TikTok. No other platform is like that. I don't have all my videos on Instagram. I don't have all my videos on Facebook. I don't have all my videos on YouTube. If you want to see all of my content, you got to go to TikTok. I know everybody don't use TikTok. I'm sorry, but you know, that's just what it is. Now, I pointed it out on the shorter video, and you might got to run it back a little bit to see it because I'm talking about something that has already passed because I can't shut my mouth. But the framing for around that door on that wall did not go all the way up to the ceiling. The reason being, the way that wall was built, it just wasn't physically possible. And so what I did was I ran my studs flat up against that wall, and I ran them up as high as I possibly could. And I just decided that when I cut the drywall, I'm going to cut the drywall to go all the way up to the ceiling. So in that corner where the wall meets the ceiling, the drywall is actually not supported the way that it's supposed to be with a stud. But if you see how high up my studs went, they really wasn't too far off from the ceiling. And so that is why I was comfortable with doing that. But even if it would have been a bigger difference, there really wasn't too much else I could do without tearing that wall out. And that wasn't possible because the opposite side of that wall was the living room wall. And like, I'm only doing the closet. That would have been way too much, okay? Now, people been commenting on some of my other videos like, OMG, you do nails too. No, I do not do nails. I did go to cosmetology school for a little bit, but the school ended up shutting down. I never finished it. I don't do nails. That nail station, that nail desk is my mom's, and she's a beast when it comes to the nails, for real. She's the one who did my nails. But, you know, obviously she's pregnant, so she's not taking clients right now. Trust and believe, though. I will let y'all know when she is. Now, do y'all see how I use this 2x4 as my straight edge to cut the drywall? I wanted to point a couple things out about that. The drywall T-square that I have, that I use to get my straight lines on my drywall, is only 4 foot long. It is designed to go the short way across the drywall. I don't know if they make 8 foot long ones. I've never seen one, but I also never looked for one. So there's that. So when it comes to cutting the drywall sheet long ways, I will either use another drywall sheet if I don't have a 2x4, or I will use a 2x4. But you have to be careful that your 2x4 is not bowed or crooked or anything, because you want it to be a straight line. Now, when you use something like a 2x4 or a drywall sheet, when you line it up on one side with your line, and then you line it up on the other side with your line, you need to go back over to the other side and double check that it's lined up. And you got to bounce back and forth and make sure that it's lined up on both sides, because when you move it on one side, it's going to move on the other side. So you kind of got to play with it a little bit to make sure that you get a straight line. You got to measure out on both sides of the drywall and then line your straight edge up. You know, you get what I'm saying, hopefully. Now, for this box, I think I told y'all before, but the HVAC, the ductwork was running up through the floor. And so that is why I framed that box right there. And, you know, I asked my mom what she wanted me to do with it. And she was like, pretty much like, make it like a shelf or something. Make it look nice. Make it look like it's supposed to be there. Somebody put it there on purpose, you know, because the way that they had the box around that before looked like, who the fuck put that box there and why? And obviously that was them being lazy with it on some we got to cover this up shit, and just hurried up and put a box around it. So she told me, like, you could just go ahead, you could drywall it and finish it and paint it like you finna do everything else. That way, when I go to wipe it down, you know, it wiped clean like the rest of the wall. So that was cool with me. I was a little bit concerned about taping and mudding all of those corners because we was definitely running out of time. You know, as I'm showing up to work on this closet, and like she's contracting and scaring the hell out of me, making me think she finna go into labor. And she was hitting her nesting phase, and so like all of the baby stuff, she had it in the closet prior to me starting the renovation on the closet. So when I started the renovation on the closet, she pulled all of his stuff out and put it in the living room. And so until the closet was done, all of his stuff was kind of just like cluttering the living room. So nesting sets in, and there's nothing she could do about it. She can't put his stuff away. She can't clean the living room. Like, she just, you feel me, is stuck wanting to nest and also contracting. And I'm thinking she finna go into labor, and I'm also rushing because it's like, okay, she want to put her baby stuff away and she can't, you know? So right here, I was not satisfied with the way that I cut this. I wanted it to kind of be like a seamless transition. And so I took my multi-tool along this edge. And as I was taking my multi-tool along the edge, it was kind of like making the paper on the front of the drywall like frizzy, if that makes sense. And so whenever your paper gets fucked up on the drywall, tear it off. Okay, so all along the front edge where it got all frizzy and stuff, I just went ahead and I tore it off, and it's going to expose the brown on the drywall, but it's okay because I cover it whenever I go back and I mud it. But the issue with the paper being torn is that if the paper is torn and you try to just like mud over it, it like bubbles and stuff. Like, it don't cover correctly. So your best bet is to just tear it off if something is to happen to your paper. Okay, if your paper tears on its own, or you know, whatever the case may be, don't try to like mud it back on or whatever. Tear that shit off. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all another spot where I do that, but for right now, let's focus on what's on the screen. Y'all see how my studs don't go all the way up to the ceiling? Also, how you really supposed to do framing first and then drywall, right? But I saved this wall for last because, for one, I thought I was going to be able to use them two studs that was in the wall already, but they sat at different, like, one sat farther back than the other one. So it was like, okay, I can't use these. Fuck that. I'm going to save this wall for last and put my 2x4s up at the end once the drywall is already hung. And the reason why I did that is so that my drywall on the two long walls could run long. Okay, it gave me some wiggle room to play with. Now, notice how my studs don't go all the way up to the ceiling. The reason being is, for a small job like this, really, the studs, the 2x4s, the framing is not structural. It is literally to hold my motherfucking drywall up. That's the purpose of the 2x4s on a project like this, is to hold, is to give me something to screw to and to hold my drywall into place. That's really all it's for. It's not structural. It's not holding up the house. It's not making sure the roof don't come down. It's not holding up the goddamn floor. Okay, it's just holding up drywall. That's all it need to do. So yeah, it don't got to be perfect. Now, I think I want to say I pulled this piece out and I tried to cut it a little bit, and I went to go put it back in, and it was just giving me a hard time. And I said it in one of the other videos, when I be losing my patience. Yeah, and I shoved some drywall into a place. Yeah, that happened. Now you see how I busted the drywall and I pulled all that out. Okay, you ever bust your drywall, chip your drywall, you move it, if you buy your drywall and you moving it around and the corner crack, like, don't worry about it. You can fix it when you go to mud it. Now, I included this last clip because I want y'all to see all of the gaps that I got in my drywall. We got some work to do when it comes to the mud. We got to pre-fill that. We got to tape that. We got to, we got to get that together. Also, these big ass holes around the light and the switch.